Tirupati, playing dice with a god in debt. Tirupati is both the name of a pilgrim spot and the name of the deity who resides there. Tiru is Tamil for what is referred to as Shri in Sanskrit, affluence, abundance, and auspiciousness. In the Rig Veda, Shri is a goddess who in the Purans is identified as Lakshmi. This makes Tirupati or Shripati the husband of Lakshmi. He is also identified as Vishnu. Vishnu descended from his celestial abode of Vaikuntha and made his residence on the seventh hill of the range of the seven hills known as Shishachalam of the Chittoor district of Andhra Pradesh. The seventh hill is called Venkatachalam. The resident Vishnu is therefore Venkateswara. Tirupati is located at the entrance of this seventh hill. While temple lore states that Vishnu descended on earth centuries ago, historically the temple can be traced to around 300 CE and has been patronized by most rulers of South India, including the Pallavas, Cholas, Pandyas, and the mighty Vijayanagar kings, and later also by the Marathas. It is managed by the Vaishnava Brahmins of the Orthodox Vaikashana order. Copper and stone inscriptions in and around the temple are in Tamil, Telugu, and Kannada. They include songs of praise composed by poet saints, including the great Annamacharya. But why did Vishnu have to leave Vaikuntha? He was following his beloved Lakshmi, who lay Vaikuntha in a huff following a disagreement. She was upset because a sage called Bhrigu kicked Vishnu on his chest, right on his heart, which Vishnu had claimed was the residence of his beloved Lakshmi. Instead of punishing, Vishnu had fallen at the sage's feet, apologizing to him for not welcoming him to Vaikuntha as the sage had expected. Bhrigu was impressed by Vishnu's humility. Lakshmi was not. She left Vaikuntha, descended to the earth, and took up residence in Kolhapur in Maharashtra, where Vishnu found her smarting, refusing to return. Vishnu decided to stay on earth, and Lakshmi calmed down. Chose the seven hills of Shishachalam as they reminded him of the hoods of Adishesh, the celestial serpent on whose coils he loved to rest. He took permission to stay here from the Varaha, one of his own avatars, who is also the husband of Bhudevi or the earth goddess. The story goes that when Vishnu took residence in the seven hills, he had nothing to eat, so Brahma and Shiva decided to take form of a calf and a cow respectively in order to provide him with milk. A cowherd noticed that the cow was discharging milk on a termite hill. Angry that the milk was being wasted, he struck the cow with a stick. The cow was wounded and drops of her blood fell on Vishnu, who was meditating under the termite hill. Vishnu chastised the cowherd and his master, the local king, who later apologized. In some versions of the tale, the king accused Vishnu of being a trespasser and a thief, and the only way Vishnu could stay there but by marrying the king's daughter, whose name was Padmavati. In other versions, Padmavati was the adopted daughter of another king born of a lotus flower. She looked just like Lakshmi, and naturally Vishnu fell in love with her and sought her hand in marriage. But the father demanded a hefty bridal price and a huge wedding. Without Lakshmi, Vishnu had no money. He had to turn to Kubera, Lakshmi's brother and the treasurer of the gods, for money. Kubera offered him to pay for the marriage provided Vishnu promised to stay on earth until the debt was fully repaid with interest. Vishnu obviously had no choice but to agree. The marriage took place. But as it happens in most Vishnu temples, the husband and wife have separate residences, with Vishnu living on top of the hill and the princess bride, locally known as Alamelu Manga, having her own temple at the bottom of the hill at Tiruchanur. Devotees who visit the shrine make huge offerings of wealth to the deity to help him repay his debt. In exchange, he gives them his grace. Grace to generate more wealth or to break free from this attachment to wealth. Guess what the devotees prefer? So, the cycle continues. The devotees give Vishnu wealth and he makes them rich, and they further obliged to give their benefactor more wealth, making Tirupati one of the richest Hindu temples with a sanctum sanctorum whose roof is entirely covered in gold. Despite all the wealth offered to him by willing devotees, the debt remains and Vishnu still remains trapped on earth. Debt or rin is a key concept of Hinduism. We are born on earth to repay debts of our ancestors, nature, the gods, sages, and fellow humans. So life is all about giving, not about taking. Giving reduces debt and liberates us. Taking binds us to the world. At the temple of Tirupati, known for its wealth, its orderliness, its cleanliness, its organization, its brilliant deployment of technology to make life comfortable to millions of devotees, one image often goes unnoticed, that of Venkateswara playing dice with an ascetic called Hathi Ram Baba. Hathi Ram Baba came to Tirumalai in some 400 years ago and would spend hours adorning the deity. This made the temple priests suspicious and they had the ascetic kicked out. The poor ascetic decided to stay outside the temple in a hut, hoping that one day he would be let in. But the priests were adamant. Feeling sorry for his devotee, Venkateswara himself decided to step out of the temple and meet his devotee. They spent time playing dice. One day it was noticed that a jeweled necklace of the deity was missing. Soldiers searched the vicinity and found him in Hathi Ram Baba's house. Oh, my dice game partner must have left it the last time he came in, Hathi Ram said innocently. No one believed him and he was thrown in jail. Since he called himself Hathi or elephant, they put a pile of rice and sugarcane in his cell, stating that as an elephant he was expected to eat all that was served in one night or face death the next morning. A few hours later, the guards heard a trumpeting sound and an elephant broke open the jail door from within after having consumed all the rice and sugarcane. The elephant then disappeared. But the soldiers and the priests were in no doubt that the elephant was Venkateswara himself, who had come to rescue one of his friends, the ascetic who had no money to offer the indebted god, but to offer him something far more valuable: love. So if you like our story, please like, share and subscribe to our channel for more such interesting videos.